co-author of the upcoming book, Love, Forgive, Never Give Up. Here today with 33 Days of Love Challenge Series, where each day I interview an author, an expert, and they share a story on how love impacted their life. And today we have Tom Scarda. Tom, welcome.
Hey, man. How are you, Bill?
Good to see you. So I'm going to read Tom's bio real quick, and then he's going to tell us a story and share one of his lessons with us. And
Awesome.
Tom has written 2 books, The Magic of Choosing Uncertainty, How to Manage Change, Embrace Fear, and Live a Fulfilled Life, and the #1 bestseller, Franchise Savvy. As a small business and franchise expert, Tom is often quoted and featured in magazines and newspapers and often appears on business news TV shows. Tom is also an official certified franchise expert. He's a businessman. He's an expert in that field, but he's also an expert in another field. Tom and his wife, Gina, give a workshop titled How to Work with Your Spouse Without Going to Jail. And Tom's going to tell us more about that. Right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Great. What do you got, brother?
So, it's interesting when you say like I do, you're not really thinking about business. I do. You're thinking about a relationship, love. And when you sign the franchise agreement, as an example, all of a sudden, as a husband and wife working together, or if you're in a network marketing group, all of a sudden, you're spending a lot more time with each other than you actually thought you were going to. And it's fine, but you have to get adjusted. I mean, it's just a new experience. And I know, for Gina and I, we were both working jobs, and then we bought a franchise, got into the Smoothie Franchise. All of a sudden, I realized I didn't know this woman that I've known for 17 years. All of a sudden, it was a wholly different person. And I had to kind of get my head around that. And I had to understand why she did some quirky things. And she had to understand why I was doing some really, what she would call stupid things. I just call them quirky. But yeah, it's a totally different world when you start working together as opposed to just living together.
Yeah. So how did you guys started a smoothie franchise, and what were some of the things that were going on? How'd you work through those, and how'd you eventually solve some of those challenges, quirky challenges?
Well, it took me some soul searching to figure out what was going on. I was thinking, like, this ain't gonna work. Like, our marriage is not gonna work. Things started falling apart at the seams, and it took some reading, some studying, some self-introspection to figure out really what was going on. And I learned about personalities and archetypes and how people operate in different ways. And it's just the way they are. Something that really, really helped more than I can explain is a book called The Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman.
Okay.
And that book teaches you really how to deal with your spouse. Highly recommended for anybody and everybody.
Gotcha. So what are some of the things that you use to help work? I mean, you guys, obviously you work through it. You guys are stronger for it. I know that you guys, are doing talks and still working together. What are some of the things that, you studied up, you learned? Did you open communication? Did you guys learn together?
Yeah, I mean, luckily we were both willing to learn and change. I mean, both parties, it's a two-way street, so both parties have to be willing to learn about the other person and about the quirks, if you will. I mean, I'm the kind of person where as an example, if you asked me for my tax return for 1993, just give me, 90 seconds and I'll have it for you. I'm very organized. I know where everything is. If you walk into our bedroom on some days, it looks like we've been robbed and ransacked. And it's Gina's stuff all over the place. And it took me years to really get a hold of that. And once she realized that one of my love languages was her just keeping a tidy room or a tidy house, spoke volumes to me that she loved me, she started cleaning up. And now, now she's very into, being organized. And so that is like a love thing. The thing that also bothered me is, like, when we would be working together, we couldn't just stand there if it was slow. She had to hold my hand or rub my arm or something. And it's a love language, which has to do with feeling, touching and feeling, and very appropriately. But for me, it was uncomfortable. I am not a very affectionate person in that way. I realized. I just thought I was normal, but I'm just the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
But once I learned that was her primary love language, what she really loved, that if I did that, if I rubbed her arm or held her hand, that told her that I loved her. And that's all I needed to do. So I learned to do it.
Yeah. No, I have a great example where I was training up Danielle on push-ups, basically giving her a program that I learned in the Army. And one of the things that she said to me, she's like, oh, one of the first times, she's really good at push-ups now, and she's, super strong. We all know that. But one of the things she says, oh, I really suck at this. And me thinking, like, if I say I suck at this, I want someone to agree with me. So I'm like, yeah, you do. You suck at this. We fought for about a week before I realized her love language would be for me to say, no, we're going to get this. But that incident, you can then use that in other areas of your life. And you know what? Let's, the berating might work for you, but not work for them. And that sounds probably a lot like what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And, I think a big thing to know is that, like you guys are setting out on this new expedition, this new adventure together. And really what you got to know, and now because you've been together for a while, is what your strengths are and what Danielle's strengths are. And you should actually put it on paper and say, listen, these are the jobs you should do. Like for me, I need to do the accounting, and I'm the anal person. I do that. And Gina's more of the outgoing, talking to everybody. I mean, I could be on a plane for 5 hours sitting next to somebody and not talk, where Gina can't be on a line at a grocery store for more than 2 minutes without talking to the person behind her. Yes. So we learned to use that strength. So she became kind of like the spokesperson every time we were interviewed by the media. She would be the person that's out there talking. And I had to be humble enough to step back and say, she's better at it, let her do it, and I'll do my thing. Yeah. So you need to know your roles, and you need to be humble enough to let your partner take over whatever it is that they do best. I
like it. And that's part of what you teach in that workshop that you and her put on?
Yeah, it is. Very much.
No, that's awesome. That's basically it's, what would you say, and just making me think of, because there are probably some couples out there that are thinking about going to business together or doing more together. Is it okay for them to try it, and if it's not working out, to back off? I mean,
well, if you're going into business, I mean, you need to have a business plan.
Yeah.
Part of that business plan should be the roles of each person in the business, whether it's a spouse or a family member or not.
Yeah.
But actually, more importantly, if it is a family member, they definitely need to know what their place is, because people start saying, I don't like the colors on the walls, we need to repaint the store. I mean, but that's not what we're here for, So you really have to delineate the roles. Have an organizational chart is really something that's important. So no, they could give it a shot, but just don't go in like a crapshoot. You got to be organized. Yeah.
I like it. And then by defining those roles, being approaching it from like a mature standpoint, if you do go in and then things aren't working out, you could then, your next job is to fill those roles with somebody else that can take up what the individual is doing.
I mean, you should always fill the role that you hate most first, right? If you're not good at it, give it to somebody else. That's my mantra.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. We have someone that comes and helps cleans the house twice a week, and because we both hate that, so we filled that role. And
perfect.
Let's focus on things like this.
I give you credit. I'm a big fan of outsourcing whatever it is that you don't have time for, whatever you're not an expert at, or whatever you are not good at.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example. It really is an outsourcing mindset, outsource project management, outsource house cleaning, outsource social media management, things of that nature. It all ties back together. We could go on and on about this for a while, but we're keeping these video interview series shorter at 10 minutes. So you've actually shared a lot of lessons. You've shared a lot of tips. So the people who've been watching up at this point have a lot of takeaways. Tom, we're going to put your links for your contact information below this video, and I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, Bill, my pleasure, my honor, and I really support what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Well, thank you, brother. We really appreciate that. For those who are watching, This has been part of the 33 Days of Love Challenge series. It's tying into a book launch called Love, Forgive, Never Give Up. Go to loveforgivenevergiveup.com. Find out more of that. Tom is going to be a featured expert and author in that book series. And we'll see you all on the next video. Thanks. Take care, Tom.
Bye.